Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back. So this is a little bit of an update of bits and bobs I've been working on. As you can see, this is a pretty weird, I suppose, crazy monster in front of you here. I work in basically 28 miniatures, making random stuff out of scrap and I suppose toys and minis themselves. So this guy actually was, the wings are from a dragon toy and the body is super sculpty, and this got hot glue all over just for the texture, and the eyes and face were just a bit of scrap. I think it was epoxy sculpt I had one time that I had left just from sculpting something else, and did some eyes and did something weird. So it turned into this strange, I'll just zoom out here maybe if you can see it, strange kind of, I don't know what this is really, creature with the curly tail like the old manuscripts of the Here Be Monsters and Here Be Dragons kind of sea monster kind of, I'm not really sure, medieval drawings basically on maps. So I think I'm gonna call him the leerer or something like this. That he leers and he paralyzes you and then he chokes you with his tail. So just an idea for a monster. So as you can see here, there's other bits and bobs I'm gonna race through. This guy was, it's some kind of demon that's made of basically a horse's rear end, with sculpted on some mad face and extra eyes and a tongue. Now I got a horse. Did I say horse? A sheep. Sheep's arse, obviously. Ram's bottom, and gave him some big crazy horns, and that's just a demon, just for fun. A lot of this stuff is for fun, lads. People ask me like, what do you play, and I'm like, man, I barely play anything, so this is just for the fun of making, really. Maybe one day I'll play more, but this is a Gorgon, I think they're called for D&D, a big like metal bull, and this guy was originally some of those really really cheap toys. I did a video on this like properly years ago now at this stage, and this guy's hollow, really cheap, crappy plastic, and he's built on with some scrap, just bits of green stuff for epoxy sculptor. Let's say Millie put that I would have had left from sculpting, and then just a bit more texture onto him and dry brush and everything. And that's just some, I think it's stuff from the inside of pillows, like the fluff, just to do some kind of gas coming from his nostrils there. So that's my Gorgon, for like the cheapest version you could possibly get. This guy, someone might recognize as well. This is from the calendar haul I did. I got a Christmas calendar that was basically, your advent calendar, but mine was hobby stuff and miniatures and stuff like this. My wife had done. Jesus, it was probably 2 or 3 years ago now at this stage, which is kind of crazy thinking about it. The videos are all there anyway, if you're feeling Christmassy. But this is basically the repaint of some. Someone might know out there, but this is a Monster Hunter monster, and this figure itself was, I don't know, maybe 16, 17 quid, which I thought was kind of pretty steep. But to be fair, there's lots of class detail on it, and it took dry brushing really well. Like I didn't do anything special to it, and put a little bit of effort in the base just with extra bits and bobs. I did put some wrinkles around his eyes just with some green stuff to kind of, I don't know, make it a bit more realistic. But he's really cool. I think like a snake dragon or something, I think would be pretty cool for him, which would make sense. This guy is what I like to call a cow tank. So this is a really cheap figure of a cow. Someone had got me for my birthday. Like some people I know in real life know what I'm all about. Give me a big pack of cheap shitty toys and I'm happy. Like, you know what I mean? The thing could cost 5 quid, but that's what I'm looking for. Especially if it's something strange. But this was class anyway. So this is just a cow that you might get a dime a dozen. Sheep and everything. I've used sheep for other things. Uh, a big set of farm animals, and this has just been built on top of with cardboard and scraps from work, which is like coma cell from sign making, and you could use anything from it. Could be cardboard, could be plastic card, and just a little bit of like the texture. I think is some of my favorite part of this. It just took the washes really well, and a little bit of dry brushing, and kind of makes sense. I feel like a 28 mil guy could probably fit in there. Maybe one guy, probably just one guy. He's got his cow tank, and same as anything, guys. I don't know what this is, it's game system or anything. This is just for fun, the fun of making, and a lot of it is, I'll be honest with you, being inspired by obviously YouTubers or media that I consume. And strangely enough, I'm feeling a little bit of like that. I consume so much like cartoons and stuff like this because of my kids now, as well as their children's books, and that's some of the more cutesy things are kind of working into what I like to make. Like these little guys here are somewhat cute in a way. These guys were actually kind of an experiment. Over Halloween, I had just sculpted some. To be honest with you, I found in a skip, I found this this basically set where you make like beads and stuff like this. It's like a tween girl thing or whatever, that you make beads and you make your little necklaces and bracelets and all. And it had some cool beads in it basically, as well as some polymer clay. So I was like, this stuff's free. I'm going to make bits and bobs with it and see what I can do. So these guys were literally just sculpted on my finger kind of thing, to see what I could come up with, just funny faces. And then there was an armature of wire underneath here, and this whole cloak here is wet wipe, which is what you use to clean children and dirty things, I suppose. And they actually turned out really well. I'm really happy with how they turned out. Like, that's just a bit of wire, and that is, classic. That is actually a fingernail. I didn't tell anybody of this, but yeah, that's actually a fingernail painted and all that. So same again, if that freaks you out, sorry about you. But yeah, there's another guy. Just super, super simple, but I feel like they've got so much character, man. And it could be little demons or ghosts or something. I think this was the first one that I did, and I put them on Instagram, and people said, "Oh, he looks a bit like Hollow Knight or something." I was like, "Yeah, he actually does." Like, I didn't even realize. So I think I was somewhat influenced by Hunter, the Pokemon Hunter, and then just kind of cutiness and simple design, and then the high contrast in the paint job. I think just really works and lets you get away with a lot. But I think, like, man, if I was making like playing, I think there's a game called Rain and Hell. I think if anybody knows about that one, you could get away with these guys. I think they're just so fun. Be tempted to make more. But yeah, speaking of little critters like this guy is I think he originally called him a fuzzball fairy, but then I think a bone gremlin makes more sense, and he's got the signature little bone there. Bone gremlin, yeah, I think I'll go with him. And I can't remember now the artist that I follow on Instagram that really influenced this guy. But yeah, he's just a little wire armature. This is a little craft fuzzball, hardened with some Mod Podge and then some little green stuff work. But yeah, another little critter for the collection. This guy anyway was the first guy I actually experiment with this whole wet wipe technique. I don't know. I'm sure it's a thing. I'm sure someone else came up with this. I don't know. But the texture is really quite nice, and it's just hardened with PVA mixed with some water. I'm sure you could use Mod Podge or whatever, all the same. This guy's just a big knight. The body of this guy, the actual frame, is PJ Masks, if anybody knows what that is. A little kind of PVC figure that I was given. I swear I was given it. Yeah, and the head is just plastic hard, and I think I didn't sculpt that. That's just raw from a sprue, because I'm not sculpting a hand that detailed for something mad like this, and that's like a sewing needle or something like that for his big sword. But yeah, pretty epic knight guy. I feel like that technique could really, really turn into something cool. These guys as well. This is what I was saying about sculpting these crazy, silly ghost faces, and they've all been kind of glued together and put some fluff on the back, and these are just going to be basically ghosts, ghost hordes, and they are quite goofy, but I kind of like it too. As you can see, you can kind of see the Hunter influences, maybe a little bit of is it Oogie Boogie from Nightmare Before Christmas? I feel like that his mouth is something similar to that. Now I didn't even watch that this year, but I feel like he's quite good actually. I put a bit of effort in that one, you can tell. So they're going to be painted up something similar to the little guys here with the high contrast, the black going into the really, really bright green. So I think that would be a lot of fun. As you can see, yeah, so that's kind of what they looked like before. It's literally this really scrap of polymer clay. Really, really simple, just glued together, and they look like ghosts, And you can even see my fingerprint there. Do you know what I mean on the back? I wasn't planning on crazy with these. And then last up, I suppose I'll show you some work in progress. There's more work in progresses. This guy was originally going to be the wizard for my Frostgrave, let's say warband. I suppose that didn't ever take off, but yeah, he was going to be kind of an engineer, kind of Geppetto, something similar to Pinocchio, and he'd use like constructs, and he was always trying to figure out how to become better at it to bring his son back to life, but he was failing with all these constructs. So that was the idea behind him. I think he was actually going to be called Geppetto something or other. As you can see in the back here, that's just a bit of terrain that I just need to put some washes on, and then I'm pretty happy with that. I think it was originally cartons of milk, and that's been nothing special about that, but I'm pretty happy with it. Once it has a bit of wash on it, gets dirtied up a little bit. I think it'll be set then. And to finish up, I've got two things here, work in progresses. There's always plenty of those. This is, I think, my contribution as far as I got for October, which is pretty slack, to be honest with you, for 2022. And this is basically a Vaseline pot, which is another baby or small child related item you might have in your house for using. If you know, you know, and covered in EVA foam. Pretty simple. I kind of like how colourful he is now, but that'll be changed. And the arms are just beads and a bit of Foamex, which is from sign making. So I get so much good scrap from works, lads. It's unreal, like, you know, and just really, really simple. And he was some kind of, he's going to be some kind of like Def Dread slash just big combination of a bead bot slash Orky bead bot. And I think he'll paint up quite nicely. I'm not going to go into too much mad detail. Some kind of backpack here, some pipes and that kind of thing, and that'll be him. And then to finish up will be another cow tank. I'm trademarking this cow tank thing. So this guy has 6 legs. So he's 2 cows put together, as you can see. This is coma cell, which is material cut-offs from where I work and stuff. That's what I'm saying. This stuff isn't too heavy and it's quite takes paint. You can glue to it quite handily. Like it's class. That's honestly a good tip. I should nearly do a video on that. Is just here it is basically. Check out sign makers, man, because like their skips will be gold mine. You know, if you get friends with sign maker, you get some cool bits and bobs. There's some cartridges from a printer, pretty sure. A lot of this is still stuck together with blue tack. I'm still kind of figuring things out and just messing around with it. It'll be finished at some stage maybe. That's a bit of a COVID mask. I'm trying to figure out how to use COVID masks because I've got so many of them around and trying to figure out how to make something cool. You know, an airship could be quite good. You can make some kind of sweet wings with the masks. That's actually, that could work. But yeah, this potentially, I'm not going to lie, this will potentially never be finished, but as a proof of concept, there you go. Make a cow tank if you want, I don't know. But yeah, that's it, guys. That's going to be this video. Bits and bobs there. Always stuff going on in the background. I always mean to post more, but then literally my biggest hurdle, and this is pure honesty, is I have to clean my desk. That's it. I have to clean my desk, and then I can post. I can do a video. But yeah, sure. Look, let me know, like and sub, all that stuff if you want to. If you're into this kind of stuff, obviously making something that I think is decent out of, you know, really cheap materials or kind of crap, or finding something that's kind of, I think, golden, you know, finding a new cool material, or a particular, say, cheap toys or different use for something. I find this is so interesting. And let me know what you think. Let me know what your favorite thing is actually, because right now it's these guys for me, because I just finished them up the other day and I think they just something class about them. I don't know. Yeah, so look, like and sub, and I'll catch you next one. Good luck.